The last time I spoke to my aunt, she told me, I kept all your letters from when you were little. I was embarrassed and changed the subject, but after her funeral, I found a box with every envelope I ever sent and my return address scribbled in her careful handwriting. I hadn't seen my Aunt Connie in almost 2 years before I got the call that she was dying. It wasn't on purpose. Life just got busy. I live in Fresno now. She was in Mesa, Arizona. The distance makes it easy to put things off. You always think you'll have more time. When I got to the hospice center, I expected her to look worse than she did. She was thinner, sure, and her hair had gone all gray, but her eyes were sharp. Still Connie. Still the woman who raised me when my mom couldn't. We talked for a while. She asked about my work, my girlfriend, the weather in California. I told her she didn't need to worry about me, that I was doing fine. That's when she said it. I kept all your letters from when you were little. I laughed, kind of embarrassed.
Why?
I was such a weird kid. I probably wrote some dumb stuff. She shook her head slowly.
No, baby.
I had to keep them. They meant something. I didn't know what she meant, and I didn't ask. It made me feel awkward. I made some joke to change the subject, and we moved on. She died quietly a few weeks later. No drama. No last words. Just like how she lived. I flew back out for the funeral. It was small. Just me, a few of her church friends, and some old neighbors. She never had her own kids.
She didn't seem to want that.
Afterward, I stayed in her house to help pack things up. It felt strange being in there again. The smell was the same. That mix of lavender and lemon floor cleaner.
Nothing had really changed.
Same worn-out couch. Same fridge magnets. The kind of stuff you don't notice until you realize you'll never see it again. I was in her bedroom, going through her closet, when I found the box. It was just a regular storage box. Nothing fancy. But it had my name written on the side. Just one word, David. I pulled it out and set it on the bed. Inside, I found every letter I had ever sent her.
Every
single
one.
The first one was from when I was 9. I just moved back in with my mom. I wrote in big, clumsy letters about my new school, my dog, my favorite cereal. Dumb kid stuff. But she kept it. And she kept the next one. And the one after that.
Dozens of them.
She'd bundled them by year, with little rubber bands. Some of the envelopes were torn or yellowed, but each one had my handwriting on the front. And every return address was written again in her neat, careful script, like she wanted to remember exactly where I was each time. I sat there on her bed with the box in my lap for over an hour, just reading. I didn't cry. I thought I would. But I just felt strange. Like I was looking at my whole childhood from the outside. And then I found the manila envelope. It was tucked under the last bundle of letters. Heavier than the others. I opened it and found 2 birth certificates. One was mine. I recognized it. The other was for a baby named Jason Daniel Foster. Same birthday. Same hospital. Different last name. Different father listed. Under that, there was a photo. It was me. I was a baby, couldn't have been more than 6 months old. But the man holding me wasn't my dad. I'd only seen 1 or 2 photos of my father, who died in a car accident when I was 5. But this guy was younger.
Cleaner.
Smiling in a way I didn't recognize. There was writing on the back of the photo. David, April 1990, me and him, before she left. That handwriting wasn't Aunt Connie's. It was my mom's. I sat there, holding that photo, trying to make sense of it. Jason Daniel Foster. Same birthday as mine. Same hospital. What the hell was going on? I called my mom the next morning. She didn't answer. I tried again. Same thing. By the 3rd time, she finally picked up. Her voice was tired. Hey, sweetie. You okay? I told her I'd gone through Connie's things. Told her about the letters.
Told her about the envelope.
She went quiet. For a long time. Then she said, "You should come home. We need to talk." I flew out that weekend. I hadn't been to her place in years. And that's when everything I thought I knew about my life started to fall apart. When I got to my mom's house, She was waiting outside on the porch like she used to when I came home from college. She looked smaller than I remembered. Older. She hugged me, and I didn't say anything. I could feel her heart racing. Inside, the house looked the same. Same framed pictures. Same ugly green couch. But I couldn't relax. I needed answers. We sat at the kitchen table. She poured us both coffee, even though neither of us touched it. I found the other birth certificate, I said. She nodded slowly, eyes on the table. Jason Foster. Same birthday. Same hospital. Who is he? She didn't answer right away. Then she said something that changed everything. You are Jason. I froze. What the hell does that mean? She looked up, tears already in her eyes. Your name at birth was Jason Daniel Foster. That was the name on the original certificate. I changed it later. Why? I asked. Because I had to. Because I was scared. I sat back in my chair. Start from the beginning. She took a deep breath. When you were born, I was with your real father, Daniel Foster. He wasn't a bad man, but he got involved with bad people. He owed money. A lot of it. We were in Phoenix. He started dealing drugs to pay off debts. He said it would be temporary. But you know how that goes. I didn't say anything. She continued. One night, he came home bloody. Said he'd been jumped. He was terrified. He told me to pack up, that we had to leave right then. I didn't ask questions. I just took you, and we drove. We ended up back in Mesa, at Connie's. That explained why Aunt Connie raised me for a few years. But what happened to him? I asked. He disappeared. I don't know if he ran or if someone found him first. Either way, I never saw him again. A few weeks later, I got papers in the mail. A death certificate. But it wasn't real. Just something to throw people off. I didn't trust it. I leaned forward. And you changed my name? I was scared they'd come looking. So, I changed everything. I had a friend at the clerk's office help me file a new birth certificate. We moved again. I told everyone you were David now. It was easier to keep you safe. My head was spinning. So my whole life's a lie? No, she said, reaching for my hand. I lied to protect you. I lied because I had to. I pulled my hand back. It felt like something inside me broke. I wasn't even mad yet. I was just numb. I left her house that night and checked into a motel. I needed time to think. The next day, I started digging. I went online. Searched Daniel Foster, Phoenix, drug charges, 1989 to 1991. Nothing. But then I tried old news archives. Found a few articles. One from 1990 about a man named Daniel Foster found shot in the desert outside of Phoenix. No arrest. No suspects. The photo was grainy. But it was him. Same man from the photo Aunt Connie kept. I printed it out and stared at it for hours. Someone had killed my real father. And my mom had run, erased my name, and made sure I never knew. But it didn't stop there. I started getting calls from a number I didn't know. No voicemail. Just missed calls, same area code from Phoenix. At first I ignored it. Then one night I picked up a man's voice. Calm. Direct. You asking about Daniel Foster? I didn't answer. He said, you need to stop. You don't know who you're messing with. Then he hung up. I sat there for a long time with the phone in my hand. Because now I knew. Someone out there still cared that Daniel Foster had a son. And they didn't want me digging anymore. But they messed with the wrong guy. I wasn't stopping. They took my real father. They lied to me. Now I was going to find out who did it. After that phone call, something inside me shifted. I wasn't just chasing the truth anymore. I was being hunted for it. I called my mom the next morning, told her what happened. She got quiet, then said, you need to let this go, David. Please. You mean Jason? I snapped. She sighed. That name doesn't matter anymore. It matters to me. She tried to talk me down, said maybe it was just a prank, that I was reading too much into things. But I could hear the fear in her voice. She knew more. And now I knew she wasn't going to help. So I called someone else. Detective Ray Maldonado. He used to live across the street from Aunt Connie, retired now. But he owed her. She'd once helped his daughter through a bad divorce. I told him everything. About the birth certificate, the fake death paperwork, the news article, the phone call. He didn't say much at first. Then he asked for the year again. 1990, he said.
Yeah.
That was a bad time for Phoenix. A lot of cartel stuff. Messy hits. Nobody got prosecuted for most of it. Cops were on the take. I asked him if he could look into Daniel Foster's case. He agreed. Said he'd make a few calls. 3 days later, he called back. I pulled some old favors.
You were right.
The guy in that desert wasn't just a drug runner. He was working as an informant.
DA.
Undercover. The name Daniel Foster popped up on a short list of agents who were being moved around quietly. One of them turned up dead. Yours. I didn't know what to say. Who killed him? I asked. He exhaled slowly. That's the thing. No one knows for sure. But someone high up didn't want it solved.
There were sealed files.
Redactions everywhere. The kind of stuff that means someone powerful got dirty. And now they're watching me? Could be. You kicking up dust. Maybe they think you know something. Maybe they're just being cautious. Either way, this isn't small, kid. He told me to be careful. That some doors don't close once you open them. I thanked him. That night, I got another call. Same number. But this time, the voice was different. It was a woman. You're not safe, she said. They know who you are now. You need to stop looking into Daniel Foster. I tried to ask who she was, but the line went dead. I traced the number to a burner phone in Glendale, Arizona. Nothing helpful. But the next morning, I found something on my motel room door. A photograph.
Of me.
Taken the night before, while I was eating alone at a diner 2 blocks away. On the back, one word. Enough. Whoever these people were, they weren't just watching. They were close. I checked out and drove to the one person I knew had never lied to me. I went back to Aunt Connie's house. The realtor hadn't listed it yet, and I still had a key. I searched every drawer, every box, every hidden panel. And then, in the back of her pantry, behind a false panel, I found a small metal box. Inside were cassette tapes. Old ones, labeled with years, and a note in Connie's handwriting. If anything ever happens to me and you find these, you're ready. But be careful. The people who took your father are still out there. I stared at that box for a long time before I played the first tape. And what I heard on it would change everything. Voices I didn't recognize. Talking about moving product through the church groups. One of them was a name I knew. Sheriff Howard Briggs. Still active. Still respected. Still running for office. And tied to my father's murder. The first time I heard Sheriff Howard Briggs's voice on those tapes, I froze. He wasn't just gossiping or cracking jokes. He was giving orders. Push it through St. Mary's Food Bank. No one checks boxes headed for the shelter. If Daniel opens his mouth, we shut it for good. I must have played that line 10 times. He said my real father's name.
Clear as day.
Briggs wasn't just dirty. He gave the green light to kill my father. And now he was sitting on TV every night, talking about cleaning up Arizona and keeping our communities safe. I wanted to destroy him. But I couldn't just post the tapes online and hope for the best. The man had power. Connections. People who would bury it before it reached the public. So I made a plan. First, I made copies of everything. Digitized the tapes. Stored them in a dozen secure folders online. Sent links to Ray Maldonado, to a few trusted reporters, and even a lawyer I found who specialized in whistleblower cases. Then I waited. Briggs was holding a town hall rally in Mesa that weekend, the kind of local political show where the sheriff shows up to shake hands and pretend to care. I sat in the back of the community center, hoodie up, eyes on him. When the mic opened up for questions, I stood. My name is David Foster, I said. You might remember my father, Daniel Foster. Briggs's face went pale. I held up a small recorder. I have tapes of you ordering his murder.
Gasps.
Cameras turning. People pulling out phones. Briggs stepped back, stammering something about lies and slander. I kept talking. You used churches to move drugs. You hid behind God and the badge. And you killed a good man who was trying to do the right thing. Security rushed toward me, but someone in the crowd shouted, "Let him talk." Another joined in, and then a third. They couldn't stop it. Within hours, the tapes were everywhere. Social media, local news, online forums. Maldonado gave his statement to the press, confirming parts of the story. A week later, the DEA reopened the Foster case. Briggs was arrested. The woman who'd called me before, her name was Elena, turned out to be an old DEA agent who worked with my father. She'd gone into hiding after Briggs threatened her family. When she saw my name popping up, she knew it was only a matter of time before they tried to silence me too. She gave testimony. So did others. Turns out Aunt Connie had quietly collected everything over the years. Letters, names, recordings. She just didn't know how to move with it. So she waited.
For me.
Briggs went down. So did 3 of his top deputies. They lost everything: careers, pensions, reputations. I didn't stop there. I filed to legally change my name back to Jason Daniel Foster. Not because I wanted to be someone else, but because I deserved to live with the name they tried to erase. My mom didn't take it well. We fought. Bad. She told me she did everything for me, to protect me. I told her I loved her, but I wasn't a kid anymore. I deserved the truth. We didn't talk for a while, but she came around eventually. When the story went national and the truth about my dad came out, she saw it. He wasn't just a drug dealer. He was trying to do the right thing.
He died for it.
And now, they couldn't bury him. Connie's letters, my dumb little childhood notes, ended up being what saved everything. They kept my address recorded each time. They proved I was who I said I was. They showed a paper trail that no one expected. She knew one day I'd need them. She knew they'd come looking. And because of her, they lost. I stood over her grave one last time before leaving Arizona for good. "I got him, Aunt Connie," I whispered. "I got every last one of them." The wind moved through the trees. It was quiet, but I felt it. She knew.